Like, the atmosphere, it surely doesn't compare to other venues. What's it like?
It's unbelievable. Like, it is a coliseum. It's a cauldron of huge energy. Like, I've played there 3 times. Probably the most poignant one of that atmosphere was we travelled with Leinster to make history and played the Quins in there. They play this big game every year with their men's and women's. So we went over there and made history for the first Irish team, and it was unbelievable as a double header. Like, the thing about Twickenham is when you go in, it's like a little village. I can imagine it being like an Olympic village. So you have their, you're jealous because people are having a few beers and they're having food, and there's so many people walking up to the stadium. And when we come off the bus, thankfully I had my earphones in, but you could still feel the energy of people cheering at you. And it was a nice mix of, like, we don't like you because you're opposition, but yeah, we're here to cheer you as well. So it is an unbelievable stadium. We've played England there. I played with the Barbarians as well. So I've played on 3, very privileged to play there 3 times, and with 3 very special teams. So I think it will, there'll be skin and hair flying tomorrow. That's what I want to see.
We're excited to watch. And we know Ireland are the favourites to win against England tomorrow already. But do you think the weight of having a back-to-back Grand Slam so close, do you think that's hanging heavy on their heads?
No, I think it's in the back of their mind. Like, I haven't had the privilege yet of meeting Andy Farrell, or Faz, as I like to call him, even though we're not close. But I feel like he would mirror your own opinion or your own goals as an athlete, that, every game is something new to make history about. And look, Ireland are on level pegging with England with 11 consecutive wins. They will set history tomorrow if they win for their 12th. It's never been done in the all 5 nations or 6 nations. They could go through every round. I don't think any team, I'm open for correction on this, but has won with a bonus point. And then to win back-to-back Grand Slams would be absolutely unbelievable. But the thing about Test rugby is you leave yourself very vulnerable if you're thinking a game ahead. England are sitting 3rd. They haven't had the easiest opening. I mean, they barely got by Italy by 3 points. They barely got by Wales at 2. They were 10-0 up against Scotland and were absolutely... Juan van der Merwe came good and scored a hat-trick there and absolutely demolished them. So they're having a very mixed... There's all this expectation with such a big nation, but I think this, if anything, is going to fire anybody, I think it'll fire England, because I think all will be forgiven if they can come away with whatever about the win, definitely a performance against Ireland tomorrow. So I think if we can get our set piece right, we look after our breakdown and keep the ball, I think we will be good, and I think we'll come out the right side of it.
England, they have, as you said, with all those stats, they have a lot to prove in tomorrow's game. What's your assessment of the English team going into this?
So they've made 3 changes. I think they're struggling to find their identity. Like, they have Marcus Smith, who hasn't played yet in the championship. He's on the bench. George Ford is a little bit more conservative, but he had a huge showing in the World Cup when they got to the semi-final. They're a team who'll probably put us under pressure with kicking. They have actually... Ireland and England are the only 2 teams over 85% success rate with their line-out. So set piece, and if they can kick to territory and get in our 22. And they have good visits to the opposition 22, which means they're very close to the try line, but it's actually, they just don't come away at scores. Whereas when Ireland get in the opposition 22, we're well able to score, and we've a huge variation in how we get our scores. So I think they'll put pressure on us kicking. I think they'll try and kick for territory and put us under pressure at set piece time, which is line-out on both sides of the ball, meaning they'll try and disrupt ours and they'll try and put us under pressure with physicality. Andy Farrell this week said that last year they really put us under the cosh because they slowed the pace of the game down. That won't suit us, and I do think they'll do that tomorrow. They'll really try and just fluster us.
Yeah, you spoke about changes on the English team, but Ireland also has some new and impressive talent playing tomorrow, namely Jack Crowley, Calvin Nash and Joe McCarthy. Do you reckon the high pressure environment of Twickenham Stadium will be of any concern, or will they be grand?
Well, I tell you one lad who won't be he won't be phased, is the man mountain with the mullet, and that's Mr. Joe McCarthy. I'm telling you, that lad is... I love him, but he's probably very similar to myself when you're a player like that, and there's many of them there who play on the edge. He is prone to a lot of... he's very high penalty counts, so he can be frustrating on...
Is that him there
with the hat?
Yeah. If you were probably wondering why there was a total eclipse of the sun, he probably stood in front of it there during the week. But look, he's not fazed by whoever he's playing. He gets stuck in. There's a bit of bite about him. He's so mobile. He's been compared to Etzebeth, who is the lock for South Africa, who's an absolute world-class player. So he's very mobile, he's great hands, he's well able to make gain line. If I was England and Jack Crowley, with all the chat around Johnny Sexton, he's had a really good start, solid start to the championship, but I'd be probably targeting him personally because the 10 is so key to your game plan. And if they can look, if they're not going to kick, they might look to put in a few cheap shots with him. However, Mr. Crowley is really, nothing fazed him. I've watched him all season with Munster and with Ireland, and he certainly bounced back from a kind of jittery start against France.
Now, if all goes to plan tomorrow, next week, Paddy's weekend, we'll be playing Scotland. It's
going to be big.
It's going to be
Lads,
so
Ireland would be like this, bobbing in the sea, like the whole place would be rocking it. But look, we just need to get over tomorrow. I think there'll be sore bodies. I think it's like there will be skin and hair flying. It's in our DNA, lads. It's in our DNA. Absolutely. Yeah. And look, it's never easy to play any English team. They're a very proud nation. And as I said, I think they're struggling to find their swing, their vibe, their identity. And I think they will use this tomorrow to answer a lot of questions. They brought in George Martin in the lock. He's a big guy. They've moved Ollie Chesham to the back row. And as I said, Marcus Smith comes in on the bench, and they've moved Elliot Daly to the bench. So they're really trying to, and obviously Felix Jones is in there, Irishman as defence. That's sad. But we're just hoping it's not Felix's day. It's our day tomorrow.
In saying that, predictions for tomorrow, what do you think the score's going to be?
I'm going to go 34-19, a 15-point win in Ireland's favour.
Yeah,
okay, right.
But it won't be an easy win. I'm not, let me say it's a big win, but I'm not disrespecting England. I think they will make it hard. But we've gone for a 6-2 split, and I think the bench will come on and hopefully finish the game off, but it will be tight.
No, we can't have you here and not talk about the women's Six Nations that's coming up. So Ireland kick off against France later this month. How do you think we're going to do this year?
Look, we had a tough year last year. I think it was the wooden spoon, and if memory serves me right, 2009 was the last time we got that. So it wasn't an easy year, but look, it was a year where we started from fresh, from the bottom up. There's been a lot of work gone in. We've just come off the Celtic Challenge. We've a lot of high class players of ours playing over in the English Premiership. And Scott has come in, who has been the English attack coach for 8 years. So we've now a coach in, and we've had amazing coaches prior to that, but he comes with a really, really impressive CV. So I've heard some feedback that his training is absolutely exceptional. So look, these young players are exceptional, but it's going to take time. You never know where you're at until you're in test games. You really don't want to be starting your championship off away to France, but look, it'll pitch us where we are. If we can come away with at least 2, if not 3 wins from the other home nations, which is going to be difficult, I think, look, that'll be a good championship. But look, let's aim for 1 or 2 wins on the road, and we're getting somewhere, because it's always better than last year. That's what we want. We just want to see the improvement.
Well, speaking of improvement, recently it's just been announced that the All-Ireland Women's and Men's League will take place in the Aviva Stadium in April, which is a first for women's rugby. Like, how important is a step like this?
It's huge. Like, as I said, I've had the privilege to play with some amazing teams in Twickenham 3 times. I've never played in the Aviva, and I've 38 international caps. I think the only time an international team has played there is in 2014. And that's been the only time. So to have watched the lads every year, which they should be playing in that pitch, on that level, on that stadium, on that platform, we just want to go there. And I know our group chat for Railway Union on Tuesday was like, oh my God, this is the motivation we need, and this is what so many players have been wanting for and fighting for, and to see it now a reality. We're sitting pretty in second, and first and second will go through to the final. So there's a chasing pack and hugely impressive teams there. So it just adds a bit of extra bite, doesn't it? But
it's great for women's rugby, and even looking ahead to the next generation of women's rugby, it's almost like emotional, like thinking about that, like that kind of change, and that's the step that people are taking. Yeah, like, so I'm a north side, and I drive my son back south side. So we passed the Aviva, and he thinks it looks like a train track. And we were coming over the bridge at Grand Canal, and he said to me, "Oh, Mama, what stadium is that?" And I said, "That's the Aviva Stadium." And he said, "What sport is played there?" And I said, "Rugby." And he said, "But I've never gone to watch you play there, and you play rugby." And I said, "I know, I've never played there." Now, he wanted to start a petition. Like, he was just so aggrieved by this. He just couldn't get his little head around it. And he was like, "But why?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. The women have never played there." And he said, "But do the men's play there?" And I said, "Yeah." And that's just a simple, isn't it funny how when you just break down, kids are like... Yeah. Kids see it like plain and simple, just like that. Yeah.
I don't understand. Yeah. And it's also going to be live on TG Carr. So to have it, as I said, being so equal with both sexes, And I just think it's fitting today on International Women's Day to celebrate the progress we've made. We're not there yet. There's still lots of difficult conversations to have, but I'm certainly about the glass half full when we celebrate big milestones. So thank you to Irish Rugby for making that happen.